Peace, everybody, and welcome to the 9 of Spades week. I'm a little late in doing this video and getting it posted. I do apologize. The week is kind of almost over, but I still wanted to give just a little bit of an overview of the 9 of Spades and see if y'all can relate to the energy that has been playing out. So, 9 of Spades week, we are in the 48th week of the year, and that aligns with the 9 of Spades. So, let me zoom in a little bit so we can see this better. And let's look at where the 9 of Spades sits on the plate. So here it is right here. And this is Venus, right? And this is Uranus. So the 9 of Spades sits Venus, Uranus. So there can be an emphasis on relationships, right? And what do we know about nines? We know that they bring completions, graduations, endings, shedding of a skin, a death of some sort, because it can be like something has ended, but ideally something even better is coming, right? So this is like the 9 of all 9s because it is a spade. So this could be more even like letting go of bad health habits, letting go of bad relationships, letting go of, bad practices, or just anything that is no longer good for you, no longer serving you. That is the purpose of the 9s. And yes, because we're human, we want what we want, and it can be hard to let something or someone go. But again, if it has served its purpose and it no longer is beneficial, good for you, healthy for you, you want to help, you want to let it go. And ideally be in gratitude of the experience that you may have had, and even be open to something even better coming, because that is what 9s are. They're just cycles of things coming and cycles of things leaving. And either way, it's teaching us not to be attached. It's teaching us to surrender to the cycles, to surrender to the flow, to allow. And again, ideally, when we do shed this skin, we're going to feel freer. We're going to feel lighter. We're going to be like, I see why that had to end. So very powerful week, very powerful 9. A lot of us are, with the holidays and being around family, and there can be a lot of emotions because, again, it sits Venus and Uranus. So it kind of brings some sudden disruptions, sudden endings, sudden, opportunities to let go, to release. And that's a big, big part of that 9 of Spades. So a lot of us have been asked to kind of just put your hands up and say, okay, I surrender to this energy. I surrender to what may be going. I can surrender to what may be coming, but either way, I'm not attached. And I'm grateful for all that showing up and for what is leaving. Because again, I always look at the 9s as like the light at the end of the tunnel. You either have to see the light that could be coming, or you'll get stuck in that tunnel. You could also look at it from like you reading a book and this chapter is finished, but another better chapter will come. And that's what you want to focus on. Don't get stuck on what's leaving. Don't get stuck on what's ending. Really focus on what could be coming, right? So now we see in the box with the 9 of Spades, there are these 2 cards. The 6 of Spades is its supporting karma card. So it's supported in that, 6. And when we look at 9s and 6s, they're just flipped upside down of each other. So with the 6 of Spades, it's a very strong card of fate, karma, destiny, responsibility, accountability, alignment, all of that. Even the relationships are fated. Whether they stay or not is, I guess, up to the individuals. But ideally, even the relationships that we attract are part of our path, are part of our journey, part of what we're learning. When we look at the 6, it starts at the top and it goes back down and into itself. So everything is just a reflection. And again, if it's not serving you, if it's not good for you, that's where that 9 comes in and says, let it go. Now, the challenging karma card is the King of Hearts. So it has to have emotional maturity, emotional mastery, emotional intelligence. So even when we have to let go of a relationship or let go of a person and someone transitions, that King of Hearts steps in, and yes, it's going to feel, and you may feel strongly, but it really brings more maturity. As we go and we learn to let go and release things, that ushers in a lot of maturity because we can't be attached, we trust the cycles, we have faith, etc. So that King of Hearts being a challenging karma card, that 9 of Spades is really looking to master those emotions because they do deal with endings, completions, graduations, that can come suddenly, that can come out of the blue, unexpectedly. So it really is asking us to mature through those strong feelings and those opportunities of release. Now, their Mercury card is the 2 of Hearts. So a 2 in Mercury means you want to connect, you want to communicate, you want to share, and it's the Lovers card. So they really do love those intimate connections, those intimate conversations All of those are a big part of that energy for the Nine of Spades, with that being their Mercury card. Now we have to be mindful with the Two of Hearts or any twos in Mercury of like, kind of control or codependency, just responding, not listening and just responding, because this is really about that good banter, that back and forth, that being open to the connections, cooperating, listening, and not moving from a space of lack or fear, right? Now, their Venus card is that King of Hearts. So that's that big love energy, big Rico Suave, I like to call it. And it does, again, require a lot of that maturity. But this gives the Nine of Spades such a persuasiveness, such a charm about them. They turn on that big Rico Suave, and they love, like, they're very protective of the people they love. They love with a lot of power. They can lead with that heart. I mean, their first two cards are hearts, Two of Hearts, King of Hearts. So there can be a lot of focus and emphasis on relationships this week, or has been. And again, it's falling in the week of Thanksgiving. So maybe being around family, people you love, and just having to kind of move maturely through these emotions, right? Big King of Hearts energy, big protective, big charming. It's like a magnet. And again, when they lead with that big heart, it really attracts more love, right? But not control, not trying to be, a dictator in any way. It's just really just realizing that power that King of Hearts wields. And now their Mars card is the King of Diamonds. They're boss when it comes to business, making better decisions, focusing. Like, that's a big key for that King of Diamonds. Now, this is a one-eyed king, so they have to be mindful of like being blindsided or only seeing things from their perspective. This can bring a lot of stubbornness, but this also gives them like amazing business ability, making better decisions, taking that financial bull by the horns, if you will, and like being boss, being in charge, making better, executive decisions, and knowing what works, and marketing and finances, and just more maturity, more responsibility when it comes to those things as well. So maybe this week too, we've had to kind of mature through our emotions and our values with these two kings. Now, their Jupiter card is the Six of Hearts. And remember, they have that Six of Spades connected to them. So their relationships are very much like karmic. You're getting back what you put out. So if you don't like what's showing up, you have to check you and not like look at the others, because it is just a reflection. And usually when there's a 6 in Jupiter, we're on the receiving end of the things that we've done. So one, allow yourself to receive, because that's another thing with the 9s. They have to learn boundaries. They're humanitarian. They want to give. They're overgivers, oversharers. But so they also have to allow themselves to receive and learn when to say no, and to say it with a period and not with an and or a but or maybe, just a no. If you can't do it, you can't do it, and don't feel guilty for it, right? With the Six of Hearts, they keeping the peace. Wanting things to be peaceful is a big part of that Six of Hearts. But even that Six of Hearts, because it naturally sits on the plate, Mars, can be very passionate, very intense, a little stubborn. So be mindful of that energy this week. And then their Saturn card is the Four of Clubs. So getting more practical, more organized, more clear in the mind is really ideal, right? That they're very like teachable. With that Four of Clubs, I feel like they can be very teachable, very stable-minded, very grounded, but they have to watch, again, that stubbornness, that rigidness, not being open to different perspectives or different beliefs, but really good at like focusing and really seeing the clear picture is a big part of that Four of Clubs. Now, Uranus is the Two of Diamonds, and remember, their Mercury is a 2, so they're how they communicate. This also makes them like really good at negotiating, business, contracts, partnerships, and they may have the opportunity, and we may have had the opportunity this week to connect suddenly, out of the blue, unexpectedly, whether it's through business meetings, arrangements, financial deals, or just relationships of value. But again, we have to be mindful of like trying to control, trying to, this is more about learning to cooperate. And when we can come together, we can actually have more success, right? Now, their Neptune card is the Jack of Spades. So they do have this mystery side to them. You may never know what you're really going to get, because that Jack of Spades is a chameleon. It's like a mask. So it's like you can get a little bit of this and then a little bit of this, and you're like, wait a minute. But that Jack of Spades is very creative, right? But being in Neptune, there can be some deceit, right? And it is a one-eyed Jack. Remember, they have the one-eyed king, and now they have this one-eyed Jack. So again, there can be some being naive, turning a blind eye, not seeing the whole picture, but really they have to like take an honest look at themselves and not try to play a role all the time and really be authentic, right? Because that Jack of Spades can, deal with escapism, illusions, especially in Neptune. Like it can be fantasy and all kinds of like Delulu energy with that card, but it also gives a very creative energy and really using that to its highest. There's such it's a shapeshifter, so they can really be anybody they want to be, right? And we all have had that this week as well. Now, their Pluto card is the Eight of Clubs. And this is a powerful card to have in Pluto because it shows when you focus your mind on something and you commit to it, you really can overcome any problems, any obstacles through the power of the mind in Pluto. But it's a fixed card. So there can be, again, some very stubbornness, stubborn-mindedness, not being flexible, not being open. So really, allowing the mind to see things from different perspectives would be key. But this gives the Nine of Spades a lot of power to really focus. And again, like anything they really put their mind to, they can have. But it's Pluto, so they may have to work harder to focus on something specific and see it through. That's a big part of eights, is that commitment, like that following through, and sometimes with the nines, they can, it's an sometimes it's over the top energy, and that Eight of Clubs can kind of ground them into, this is what needs to be done. Let me focus. Let me get this done. And then I can go play, right? Now they're, reward to the Eight of Clubs is that Six of Diamonds. So again, they're going to get back what they put into things. This is a very strong card of like debts being settled, being responsible. Again, you see the sixes and the nines are very close together because, there is that essence of even like beginnings are fated and endings are fated. And what this teaches us is to trust in both. Like, if something is trying to go, instead of blocking the door and fighting it, let it go. It just means something better will come in its place. But again, I know we're human and we want what we want and we tend to resist. But this six is even saying, allow. Remember, it's like a current. It comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. And either way, you're not attached. You let it flow and you trust in the process. Sixes bring destiny, fate, alignment. And if you trust and you really see the power you have, everything will align for you, right? Now, their cosmic lesson is a Four of Spades. Remember, their Saturn was a Four of Clubs. So it is really important for them to get grounded, to really find that structure, that discipline, that commitment that it requires, because you're building something solid with fours. And that Four of Spades, really good at health, being able, like feeling strong physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. All of that kind of plays under that four umbrella, right? But there can be some rigidness, some stubbornness, some stuckness, but typically it's a very stable energy, helps to ground, helps to root, helps to feel that security and that safety. And even like with this week and all the food that most people are eating, you really still want to like keep your body strong, don't overindulge, because that's something you can see with these nines. And it may take a little bit more discipline to get back on track to your health regimen or whatever it is you got going on, right? Now, their cosmic moon is the 10 of Hearts. This is a big love energy, big opening of the heart. And again, how interesting it falls in this week of Thanksgiving, where 10 of Hearts can be a card of like large gatherings, family. And yes, the emotions can be intense because maybe you're around people you haven't been around in a while, or you're welcoming people into your home and you have to really be, that open-hearted and really express yourself. But again, it's like a big mass opening of the heart, big hug, feeling admired, feeling loved, feeling, emotionally expansive as well. And it's that those feelings can get big and they can be over the top. So just be mindful of that, because tens love that kind of attention and stuff like that. So they can, maybe even overperform. You may find that as well this week. And then their transformation card is the 10 of Diamonds. And this was a huge eye-opening for me when I was looking at these nines and how 3 of them actually transform into tens. And I was like, wait a minute. So if nines are endings, completions, and graduations, but they transform into a 10, and tens are accomplishment, success, having more, very win-win type of energy, it made me think like, well, even the endings are a blessing. It just means something bigger, something better is going to come. And we know the 10 of Diamonds is like a good luck, a blessed card. It sits Jupiter. So again, in this week, And I know it's almost over, but hopefully you can relate to this and maybe you've already experienced some of this energy. And maybe the Nine of Spades is a card that's in your spread for life or this year. So I always tell people pay attention to that as well. But anyways, this Ten of Diamonds wants to open you up. It wants you to expand. And to have more, we usually have to let go of something to make space for what it is we truly want. So in this very interesting energy, it's so important to just allow, to surrender, to free yourself from the attachments, the expectations, because what you're saying is, I have faith, I trust, I believe, and I know that if this is going, it no longer serves me. That just means something even better is coming. And when we really look at it from that perspective, and it doesn't mean like endings aren't disappointing and you're not going to be sad about something or someone transitioning, leaving, going, saying whatever it may be. It just, how long will you stay in that, right? Like I said, it's either you choose to stay in the tunnel, and sometimes that's necessary to process maybe what's going on, but don't forget to look to the light. Don't forget that something better, there's another day, there's another way, there's another opportunity to grow, to expand, to have more. And that's a big part of that Ten of Diamonds. So when you look at where the Nine of Spades comes from, starts, and where it goes, you can really see the process of that expansion and that increase that can take place. So anyways, again, I'm sorry I'm super late with this video. I hope it's been an amazing week with the people you love being around, and have really experienced the high side of these nines. And even if you've had to experience the low side of the nines, which can be disappointment, again, endings, completions, graduations, whatever it is, trust and know that it's exactly as it was supposed to be. Six of Spades, Six of Hearts, Six of Diamonds, and that something even better, something even bigger, something even more of what you desire and want will be coming, right? Because it transforms into a Ten of Diamonds. So anyways, happy Nine of Spades week, and I will talk to y'all next time for the Ten of Spades week that we will start on Monday. Peace, everybody.